Folks, the tide is turning. We can say it has turned if we do our part and show up to vote. Again, we only get that landslide if we show up to vote. Because I tell you what, there are a whole lot of people right now that are so frustrated with their own votes of the past, their previous vote for Donald Trump, that what they're doing is they will be there voting. So the building blocks of the landslide is there, and it is up to you to make it, to bring it to fruition. Now, I want to say one thing before I get any further. Don't let this win be won on the backs of disgruntled Republicans, because the ones who would get service, the policies then will be written for the disgruntled Republican by a Democratic president. Let's make sure that all progressives go out there in rows and vote. Let this win be a progressive win with others assisting and coming on to a bandwagon where they know that policies would be out there that will include them as well. But I want you to see I recently showed you a few professionals who decided we just can't have Trump anymore. This is now some working class folks in Ohio. Check this out, and then we'll take it on the other side.
We wanted to talk to union workers because, as you know, entire books were written about the support for Donald Trump among non-college educated white men. So look what's happening in Lorain. This is the old B&O Railroad. It's been down for a long time, but the promise was this was going to be a commuter rail. Never happened. Just this May, the last 250 workers at the U.S. Steel plant here lost their jobs. And since 2016, the actual gap between what's happening with the deficit, it has grown, actually. So the question for me was, how are union workers now feeling? I sat down with two guys from the UAW, another former steel worker, and what they told me, well, they gave me an earful.
One of the reasons he appeals to me is because he thinks bigly. He gets moving in a big way to make big projects.
But the problem is you're believing the lie of a liar. I have two friends of mine that said that they were sucked in by someone that they thought that was going to change the country, and they said he did. He made it worse, and they can't wait to get him out.
But I think down in the lower reaches where the guys are doing the work, hitting the buttons, making the machines roll, those guys are solid Trump because he's tough. He's tough. He's strong for America. And he's making America great again.
I make probably someplace between 20 and 25 calls a day to retirees. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to tell you what, there's not a daggone one of them that like Donald Trump.
I think there's a lot of secret people just sitting back. They go to work, they take care of their kids, and they'll be showing up on the 3rd of November.
Actually, I think it's the opposite way. There's that silent majority that's going to vote for Joe Biden that's not going to vote for Donald Trump this time.
No, I don't think there's a secret Republican group out there for votes. I think Joe's going to win by a landslide, and that's what I think.
These guys are friends. Interesting kind of conversation. Trade deficit was the phrase I was looking for. Worse now in Ohio than it was back in 2016. Having said all that, one of the things you find out as you talk to voters here, Chuck, and in some of the other battleground states, is those folks who are firmly in Trump's corner are not going anywhere. None of the arguments that their other guys made to them changed John's opinion at all. So that's where we are. That's where we are. The gap closing, not closing all the way, and both sides questioning whether or not there are a lot more voters on their side than the polls actually show.
And folks, Ohio, that was in Ohio. Ohio, I think last RCP that I looked at is now Biden +5. So think about it. If Ohio goes, that means the entire Midwest goes, because Ohio will go before many others actually take off. Let's remember that. So again, the landslide is on if progressives and Democrats go out there and vote. And what is very important is that you must vote in droves, because remember, there are a lot of Republicans who are not going to vote for Trump, and they've already tagged themselves to Biden. What do you think's going to happen if it is the preponderance of the Republicans that gives Biden his win? Who is he going to be accountable to? Progressives, that is enough. That should give you enough impetus to go out there and vote in droves to make sure that your voices are heard. We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead, number one, subscribe to our channel, and number two, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.